Arman Tsarukyan is the #1 contender in the UFC lightweight division, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the current title picture. While Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria prepare to fight for the vacant belt, and names like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and even Paddy Pimblett dominate the headlines, Arman has been pushed to the margins. Despite defeating Oliveira, despite being scheduled for a title fight, and despite sitting atop the rankings, he has no opponent and no clear path to the belt. So how did the UFC's top contender become invisible? At UFC 300, Arman Tsarukyan had his moment. Riding a 3-fight win streak, he stepped into the cage against former champion Charles Oliveira. It wasn't an easy fight. He got caught in a tight guillotine early. But Arman weathered the storm and used his elite wrestling to grind out a split decision. It was gritty, impressive, and most importantly, enough to make him the #1 contender. The UFC offered Arman a title shot just 2 months later at UFC 302 against Islam Makhachev, but the timing was brutal. With less than 8 weeks to prepare for the biggest fight of his life, Arman declined. Islam ended up defending against Dustin Poirier instead, and Arman waited patiently for his turn. That turn came at the start of 2025. Arman was officially booked to fight Makhachev at UFC 311, a headliner for the new year. It was everything he had worked for. Then disaster struck. Just days before the fight, Arman injured his back, an old injury flaring up during his weight cut. The pain was so severe he couldn't move, let alone train. He had no choice but to pull out. The UFC scrambled to find a replacement, and 10th-ranked Renato Moicano stepped in. The result was a lopsided loss, and Dana White made it clear Arman had blown his chance. There would be no immediate title shot. When he recovered, while Arman rehabbed, the division evolved without him. Islam Makhachev vacated the lightweight belt to move up to welterweight. Ilia Topuria moved up from featherweight and immediately became a contender. Charles Oliveira, still in the mix, was matched with Topuria for the vacant title. Arman left out entirely. Despite beating Oliveira, despite holding the #1 spot, he wasn't even mentioned for the vacant title. It was clear. He'd lost more than just a fight. He'd lost momentum. Looking to get back on track, the UFC tried to book Arman against Mateusz Gamrot in Abu Dhabi. Arman declined. From his perspective, Gamrot was ranked too low. But considering Gamrot had beaten him before, and Arman needed a fight to stay relevant, it was a risky decision. To the UFC, it looked like Arman was turning down opportunities. In a recent training video, Arman admitted he still doesn't have a fight lined up. He said he'll only accept a top 5 opponent or a title shot, but Dana White's tone hasn't softened. Publicly, he's made it clear that Arman will need to fight again before earning another shot at gold. That leaves Arman in limbo, unwilling to fight down the rankings, but also unable to get booked up. So what are Arman's options? He could wait, but there's a real chance the UFC bypasses him when the next title defense comes around. Justin Gaethje is a logical matchup. He's ranked #3 and recently beat Rafael Fiziev, but Gaethje may also sit and wait for a title shot. Then there's Dan Hooker, a step down in rankings but a fighter with heat. After Arman pulled out of UFC 311, Hooker mocked him online. Arman responded when Hooker later withdrew from a bout, throwing the same insult back. It's a fight with built-in animosity and real stakes. A main event with Hooker could reignite Arman's title run. The reality is brutal. Arman Tsarukyan is the #1 contender on paper, but paper doesn't move pay-per-views. Without a clear storyline, fan base, or Dana White's blessing, he's stuck. UFC 319, rumoured to be headlined by Khamzat Chimaev, could offer Arman a co-main slot and a chance to reclaim visibility. But unless he fights and wins again soon, the risk is real. The division may move on without him. He's beaten champions, taken risks, and proven himself in the cage. But in the UFC, that's not always enough.